Okay, this one's been quite a while coming, but I have a few more prototypes. Hopefully this is the last revision of this PCB and we can test it and make sure it works, and it most likely will, and we'll be able to start selling this kit. A lot of people have been asking for it. I do apologize, I've been sitting on this for over a month now. I just haven't had motivation to get in there and deal with it. But I have redesigned the whole PCB to get these 10K pull down resistors put on there. The Steve figured that was going to solve the problems with the turbo everdrive, and as you can see, I've not put them on this PC because of what I want to do is get it installed into this core graphics and see if it still has the problems, because one of my thoughts is just rerouting all those traces to get those pull down resistor networks on there was possibly going to fix it by itself. I kind of hope it doesn't. That way we can put the resistors on there and then fix it and be damn sure that's going to solve everything. The Steve also pulled off a lot of the ground plane around all of that stuff, and I left it on there this time. So if we get through all this and it doesn't work, that's still one more thing that I could do, but I'm pretty sure this is going to solve all of it. So I'm going to switch to the other camera and get this put into the core graphics and test it. Well, here's one of the fun things that I was waiting on was I didn't want to just buy what have been 6 pull down resistors to put on these 3 prototype boards that I got. They were, you know, they're not a super critical component. I mean, he was using his finger to simulate pull down and made it work. So it's not like I was trying to get some name brand stuff, or, you know, and I didn't want to buy just 6 pull down resistors from Mauser and pay shipping. So what I did is I went to eBay and found somebody who was selling a whole reel of these. And there's I forget what the quantity was now, 5,000. That isn't, I mean, it's scratched out, so maybe not. Maybe they used a few of them. It's scratched out in here, it says 5,000. I want to say it was some really high number. Yeah, they've obviously used some, but that's alright. And you know, it was like, I don't know, 15 or 20 bucks shipped for all of these. So what I'm hoping to do is find somebody that will fab and assemble them for me so that I can just get them and resell them and not have to install the 3 chips and the capacitor here. Have somebody else do that. That'd be nice. But that was one of the things that held me up for about a week, because I got the PCBs and realized that I didn't really want to mess with Mauser and all that. So, and you know how it goes, one thing leads to another, and before you know it, it's a month and a half later and you haven't got the damn thing installed yet, so let's do it. Well, much like the core graphics 2, it looks like we are going to have to remove that metal plate. I kind of figured it would be there, but that's as easy as it is. There's the one from the core graphics 2. It doesn't match the serial number or anything, so I don't really know what that number's for. So it's not really critical, and it helps us fit the board up there, so it's got to go. Alright, so we've got pin 29 grounded. I just got some of my magnet wire. This might be the one thing that keeps a lot of DIYers from trying to do this mod themselves. I mean, the board makes it easier, but that is very difficult to solder to if you don't have the right equipment and wire and stuff. And then there is the main board. I still need to run a wire for power, and then my 3 leads for the switch. And that's the pull down resistor pads right there. I have not placed those yet. So I'm going to get all that stuff done, and then we're going to start testing it. Okay, so got a Japanese hue card in here. Boot's fine. Put it in USA mode. Does not boot. Lonks Adventure US. Boot's fine. Jap mode. Does not boot. Let's see. In PC engine mode on the turbo everdrive. with something simple like Keith Courage. I believe this is the same problem we had before. It's not even trying to load. I think we tried 1943 as well. Let's try that. Well, just for just in case, let's try it in US mode. That's interesting, it doesn't even want to load at all. Seems to only like itself in PC Engine mode. Well, they tried to do something, but it failed. So, now I go back and install those pull-down resistors. And we'll retest. Well, they're on. That was rather tedious. I'm definitely going to see about getting somebody to assemble these for me. I'm not going to try to do that every single time. Not if I want to make any money or sell this for any kind of a low, decent price. Okay, so I guess we'll retest the regular cards. Japanese boots. US is not in TG-16 mode, or a PC Engine mode, but just fine in TG-16 or PC Engine mode. Whatever. I'm getting screwed up here. Okay, everdrive. 1943. It's not looking good. Let's try Keith Courage. Man, I really thought this was just going to work. I mean, the Steve took care of it, and it worked on the other one. That's what's really weird. I mean, this is the exact same thing. I've just checked all my little tiny connections on those pull downs. So, I'm at a bit of a loss. Try it in TG-16 mode. At least it booted up this time, right? No, that looks like the same kind of fail we were having before. Me putting my finger on it sure doesn't do nothing. Crap. Well, I don't know. Once again, I might have to send this to the Steve so he can figure out what happened here. I mean, I thought this was it, other than me putting some ground plane on there, which he took off. God, if that's it, then that'd be an easy fix, but I really didn't think that would be it. So I guess this is a big regret video. I wish I had done this when I got these PCBs in, and when I got the resistors in, because I could have already had another version of this to test. So I know, I guess we're gonna have to hold off a little bit more on it. Okay, so really the only thing that I can even think left to do is what Steve had already done, that when that was remove ground plane off the PCB. So that's what I did. And I have to tell you, that was kind of fun, kind of a little learning experience, if I'm being honest. It's something I never even attempted to do before. I really am surprised how easy it was to do once I got it figured out. Definitely had my 10 by eye loop, and my face was right on top of that thing. And I found I had to get the pointiest, sharpest blade I could find to get underneath just a little bit of the edge of that. And then I could either use needle nose, and most of the time I was using my tweezers to grab a hold of it, and it would just rip right off. At first I thought, oh, I'm gonna have to heat it up, because I've had, you know, plenty of pads and stuff just fall off the PCB when I got them too hot. But since there was so much pull of heat off the ground plane in all different directions, depending how big the piece was, like this piece over here, this would not come off by itself. It just wasn't, I mean, it may have helped, but it wasn't making it lift at all. So that's when I just started cutting into it and grabbing it and pulling it. And I'm gonna tell you what, I mean, look, all this chunks over here, that's a ground plane I pulled off. It was kind of fun, really. So let's see, I might see how close I can get up on here on this. Maybe I'll put the macro lens on, give you a real good close-up of it. That's about as close as I can get for you, but you can definitely see what's been removed. I see the fiberglass underneath the purple and the big contrast. It's pretty obvious. That took a lot of effort, but when I was really looking at this and concerned about the ground plane, I'd noticed that somewhere between me sending in my design and OSH Pert sending it back, there was a discrepancy. Here's the board as it looked before I started pulling shit off of it. And if you'll notice, how good I can zoom in here, but you can see there is ground fill there that has been cut off from the rest of it. So somewhere some of my settings are wrong and they are changing them. I don't know if it's width of the fill or spacing or keep out or whatever it is, but you can see there's let's see if I can point at them for you. Right there, and there, and there. Those four fill areas aren't connected to anything. And then I think one of them had been cut off somewhere up close to the chip. I don't remember where, but it didn't mean anything. It was like maybe that right there went between those two traces a little further, but now it doesn't. I don't remember. But it seemed like maybe it had more to do with those pads than anything. So anyway, we're gonna put this one on the PVM and see if it's made any difference. Okay, so I'm really only worried about making progress here. I don't think I'll ever get it as good as redoing the whole board. Let's see, I'm in PC Engine mode on EverDrive. 1943. Well, that's definitely an improvement. What's happening to the 9? It's drifting away. That's hilarious. But at least I've got graphics. They are garbled. So it's definitely a step in the right direction. I wonder if Keith Courage will show any improvement. Oh, that was close. Fail. But that was the best boot I've had on that game with this board so far. So I hate to say it, but I think I'm going to have to redesign the PCB again and remove all that ground plane. I'm definitely going to try it to where I don't put the 10Ks on there and see if it works without them and without the ground plane. And if it works without them, I might redesign it again and leave them off, because that's just 2 more components that I have to pay to get put on there, you know, during assembly and stuff. Just extra cost. So I don't know, maybe another few weeks again and I'll have these boards figured out finally.